I'm sipping out of a Solo cup in a prairie dress. Any questions? We have tried so many different edibles.
Sleep well.
Never slept better.
Yeah. Well, that's what that's like.
Edibles.
Right now, like people have noticed, like if you market your stuff towards sleep or like insomnia, sales fucking like.
Yeah,
triple.
well,
that's like the number
that's
one.
the
Pain and
mainstream,
sleep.
yeah.
Pain, sleep, and anxiety are the three big things people use cannabis for.
Now there's going to
absolutely.
be appetite
More than ever.
suppressant and like other stuff.
THCV. We actually just got a flower in that's like has supposed to be like the highest testing THCV like that's ever come through like the lab. It's like something like 6% THCV, and that's supposed to be like an appetite suppressant. It's a different cannabinoid. Yeah.
I'm trying to get that
The
THC.
anorexics out there.
Yeah.
Anorexics.
Trying to
Get
that.
high and naughty.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun.
Get the munchies without getting the munchies.
Yeah, no. Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so chill.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how this whole thing.
I'm already so high. I was like, are we
Really?
doing this?
Did you smoke already?
Yeah, I smoked a blunt to the face.
Yeah, man.
As soon as she got here, I handed her one pretty much.
She's like,
okay.
here, hold this. It matches you. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I already like pressured her into a photo shoot. I'm like, take some pictures for content.
You look like you're gonna milk a cow. I love it.
Thank you so much.
She already milked the cow, actually.
yeah.
It's very like I know how to like salsa. You know what I mean? Like it's
No,
very,
it's like Amish.
No, it's
it
like,
could be a lot of things.
It's a lot of things.
floral.
For me, personally, it's a mix between prairie chic
Yeah.
and yeah, that's all I have. Just prairie chic. I don't know what it is. I bought it for $1 in a parking lot.
You look like you were on the ship that discovered America.
Yeah. It was a hellish ride over. Let me fucking tell you.
I like it though.
I mean, look, when else am I going to wear this? When the fuck else? We're not even allowed to leave the house. I'm like, Frank invited me to do a podcast. This is the perfect dress.
Yeah. Now any small
Hilarious.
moment going outside is a huge deal. And I wore a suit to get groceries the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a 3-piece
What
suit.
was what did you tell yourself like you were coming from? You were just getting married or you
No, I
were
was
coming
like,
from work?
I just want a Grammy.
A
I
big
had to pick
business.
up some
Okay.
food.
And then you're going to go pick up a salad because that's what you do when you win a Grammy.
Yeah,
I love it.
He
You go
went
to
go pick-
Gelson's?
No, he went
you
to
win a
Ralph's
Grammy. Oh, he went to
pick up-
Ralph's.
No, I don't know where he
Smart
went.
choice.
It'd be hilarious
Rock 'em
though,
or Ralph's.
if he was at Food for Less in a full tux.
There was do you guys remember I would think it was the Oscars. There was a guy, I think he was like an improv person, but he did a whole sketch where he was like, you know, you can literally just walk. He wanted to see how many parties he could get to if he walked around Hollywood in a suit and a Oscar in his hand. And he ended up getting like backstage to so many places.
Really?
Because he was like, because you know, you could be on the like FX team or like the VR department or whatever the fuck, and you still get a fucking Oscar. You know what I mean? Like if depending on what category you win.
I think it's all confidence.
Yeah, so that's what it was. And it's also you have a fucking thing in your
Oh,
hands.
people
You're
sneak
like, oh,
in
it's
so
here.
many
It's
different
real.
ways.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Think about the people that try to sneak in all the time at the Comedy Store.
Oh, absolutely.
But you
Yeah.
catch them right away, though.
My favorite is when they're like, "Oh, I'm with that guy," and then you're just like, "Oh, is this guy with you?" And they're like, "Nope."
Oh my God, I've seen that happen at the Comedy Store, and it's really brutal. It's sad.
Yeah, watching people make those not mistakes, but watching people get like, "Oh," is like the best.
Oh man, it's
It happens all the time.
all the time. LA, that's the kind of place.
So this is fucking sick. So the theme of this podcast is you get high and you just talk.
No,
Let's see what
no.
happens.
The theme of the podcast is like you remember going to the back of the Comedy Store and hanging out, and
Oh, yeah.
that's what I wanted it to be,
It feels like that.
right? Except
yeah, in
not.
the dugout.
Yeah,
I call
yeah.
it the dugout.
The
I know
dugout?
the sacred ground.
No, the dugout's pretty cool. It does feel like a dugout.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, for comics, yeah.
Yeah. I one time did softball. It didn't go well.
I one time did softball. What
I was
happened?
the catcher.
You were the
Did
catcher?
you catch anything?
Not really. I was kind of chubby. I was like a chubby.
Were you a chubby kid growing up?
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm a comic. Duh.
I was a chubby kid.
You know,
growing up.
something had to have gone wrong. No one walks around in a prairie dress if everything was okay. Obviously, something
makes a
went
point.
wrong.
Hey man, I think being a chubby kid's way funner than being a skinny kid growing up.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's how I formed my personality.
I mean, I was not a chubby kid, but I was heavily medicated, so I did feel like an outcast.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually quite the opposite. People were like, "You're not eating enough." You know what I mean?
Must have been nice.
Yeah. Not to,
What I would have done.
not to brag, you know.
You know what I would have done?
I was the fat kid in.
Yes, eat.
Yeah. I was the fat kid in my family where we'd have like, grandma would cook dinner and I would like be the one who would take his shirt off at the dinner table and like eat because I thought it was just funny.
You took your shirt off at the dinner table?
I would take my shirt off and smack my belly because I was just like,
adorable.
we're eating spaghetti tonight. And yeah, it was
I
like,
love this.
Nutty Professor dinner.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever being full. Like, I don't ever, as a kid, my mom would be like, you stop eating when you're full. And I'm like, but I'm never full.
happened.
Yeah.
And the doctor was like, no, but you do get full. You just keep eating past that
I will
point."
say I did have a time where I did get fat as a child, though, because of actually a medication thing. And I gained like 20 pounds. I know, big deal, right? But it was like a lot for me. And then I had to go to Weight Watchers when I was like 12 years old.
What the fuck?
12.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
So I do know what it's like to be a fat kid. I just like beat it, you guys. So don't come for me, fatties, because you can't.
Oh, that's so funny. So my wife works in eating disorders, right?
Oh.
Good for
Yeah. Good for her. Whatever the fuck. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it's good.
We could
But,
probably, yeah.
Yeah. But we like, we talk all the time, shoot the shit. But there was so in the place she worked, they do this thing called binge challenges. So like, say you have like overeating's like a problem for you. They do that. One of the treatments they do is they get the food that would most trigger you. Right, and then you would you would try your best to not to eat a normal amount, right?
There's no way.
No way.
Yeah.
They do this to you in the
Treatments?
facility?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they get like your trigger food.
So like there was a person
Yeah.
who's like
They expose you to the
it's
substance.
exposure stuff.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a bunch
Okay.
of heroin.
So there was a person who's like
They should
pizza
do this.
was their thing. Like they would eat like an extra large pizza. So they ordered them a pizza and they only ate 2 slices and then they passed, right? They were just like, I only want 2 slices. And then they were like, oh, okay, cool. So they don't throw the food away when they're done with those challenges. So my wife brought the pizza home.
Oh, they give it to the people.
And I ate the rest of the pizza in 30 minutes.
You're an enabler.
Yeah. So I failed someone else's binge challenge. And then my wife thought it was hysterical, went back to work, told the dietitians that she worked with, and they thought it was the funniest thing in the world, too.
I'm worried about you guys.
No. I am disgusted. He watched me.
Pizza's the one food I've seen you eat an unhuman amount.
Is that your trigger
It's
food? Would that be
unreal.
your trigger
Isn't
food?
that everybody's trigger food?
I don't know if mine's pizza.
I know what mine is.
For me,
What
it's
is
dogs
yours?
tacos
Mine's-
for sure.
There's these potato chips, and they're truffle potato chips. It sounds weird. They're fucking incredible. I went through like 6 bags in 2 days.
Holy shit.
That's
yeah.
a lot.
fucking
That's
chips.
like I couldn't
I'm
put
like
a
that,
lid on it.
I'm like that with bagel bites and like pizza rolls.
Ooh.
Like
I love bagels.
I would get, dude, there was time, it was bad. There was a time where they do the 30 bucks and I'd murder it, and then they had the 60 and I'd murder that. And then I remember we
the
bought
30 bucks of what?
bagel bites.
Oh my god.
And then they had the 90 bucks, right?
Oh no.
And they had to stop buying me bagel bites in my house because I would just, it would like, they'd get,
through 'em.
yeah, I would just go through. It wasn't like you can have a little here and a little there. I would go through sheets of them.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's incredible, Frank.
One time I ate too much in 3rd grade and I threw up because I physically couldn't fit all the food in.
I've done that getting stoned
I did that with Hershey's chocolates as a kid, and now I will never eat Hershey's Kisses.
Do you think
Ooh.
that's got to just be like being a kid and like just you don't, you know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah, my
this
mom
is
was
what-
like, "You
yeah.
can't have dessert," and I was like, "I'm having dessert, bitch." And then I had it under my covers, like a fucking. I know what it's like to be a fat kid, and then it just like threw up, and I was like, never again. I'll never like. My mom, she
Yeah.
got me in the end.
My
so.
cousin did the same thing, but it was laxatives. It was chocolate laxatives.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Did she know?
No. So what happened was he was like, I don't know, like maybe like 9 or 10, and I guess my aunt had them because like she was having stomach problems, so she was eating
was
a little bit.
constipated,
Yeah. So
Frank.
she was eating a little bit, and he was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's chocolate." Or she was like, "It's chocolate," and he was like, "Oh, can I have a piece?" And she was just like, "Well, you can't have a lot, but you can have a little, right?" So she gave him a little bit of chocolate, but he like watched where she put it and went and snuck and got them all and just ate them all, and he was just fucking shit.
No.
That's
no.
horrible.
Young kid just not understanding why.
Yeah.
Why you're draining out your ass.
That's so terrible.
Hershey's, how could you do this to me?
That's terrible.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, apparently my family just got a history of just weak stomachs and just like I had another cousin of mine. A lot of my cousins shit, bro. My cousin had
It runs in the family.
he was extremely sensitive to apple juice. And
Wait,
Oh
Apple
no.
So bizarre.
he was just
How
very
bizarre.
just-
Okay.
he was just extremely sensitive to apple juice. And then I remember he went to my grandma's house and he was like, I can't drink apple juice. I can't do it. And my grandma was like, of course you can. She gave him a bunch of apple juice. And he like had to they found him hiding somewhere because he had like shit all over himself. Yeah. It
From
was
apple juice?
Yeah, bro.
That's
Traumatizing,
wild.
dude.
Yeah.
One time I ate too many red vines. I projectile vomited red
Like
dye
neon red.
everywhere. Like neon red in 3rd grade. And then I didn't have red vines for years. Happy to say I can now have red vines. Any questions at this time?
No.
Okay.
I like how we're just trading stories of just the times
Binging.
One time,
It's gonna be a very triggering episode for
one
a lot
time
of people.
I finished is it a fifth? Is that the size of a Jose Cuervo?
Yeah.
In college, like I was in Boston, and my friend, I don't know why I was drinking tequila in Boston. Terrible choice.
That's a college
And so we were on the way to her friend's house for a party, and I fucking chugged it. I was going through a breakup, whatever.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And I fucking threw up in this guy's lawn. Yep, never told him. And then I guess like he had found it, and for like years, like never knew who threw up in his lawn until probably just now. No, I'm just kidding. Until probably I think a few years ago when I told my friend about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he always mentioned
He
there was
brings it up.
someone threw up in his lawn."
Lawn throw up is not something I can get on board with.
Who would
Like,
clean that up? It was at night. It was in a dangerous place.
You
Listen,
hose that off the
Yeah.
next day with a power wash.
The rule is if no one sees you throw up,
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
Never
You know what I
happens.
mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. It was biodegradable. I figured whatever. Nature, snow would cover it up. I had justifications in my mind.
Have you ever puked at the store?
No.
I have.
I've come
I'm-
so close, Frank. So many times I've been walking through that hallway. Like,
Oh, well, I've been like that at the store where like the next day I'm like, I was so incredibly high. I should not have been in public. Like, just like, you know, when you're so
being,
high
like,
at this.
high and then like
no,
drunk.
I've been like drunk, high, cross-faded. Like right when I started comedy and I would go to the store, I would get blacked out drunk. Like before I even started going to potluck, right around when I was doing bringer shows and I was like afraid, I would get blackout drunk, stumble onto stage, walk through the hallway, barely know what was happening.
I was the one who I kept bugging you to come to potluck.
Oh yeah. And then that's how I came to potluck. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, getting fucked up at the store and like puking.
I mean-
first night I ever worked my
Like-
first shift, I puked working there.
What was it that triggered that?
Well, it
Was
was
it like tradition?
Yeah, it was tradition. That's what triggered it. It was my first real shift.
You
And
have
then-
to throw up?
No, as a door guy, they make you take 151 shots.
How many?
I had taken 3 that night, I think. Yeah, it was bad, and yeah.
I'm like, can I just throw up for you guys?
Yeah.
Like,
So I
no
pounded
more?
it. And the first time I ever did it, I fucked up because it was like the first time I ever did it, I fucked up because you're supposed to drink it all, and then smash the Coke because if you like breathe after you take the 151, you're just gonna throw up because it's like drinking gasoline. So the first time I fucked up, I drank a little bit of it and then drank the rest of it, and then that walk around the corner from the front bar to the back patio or the back door where the seat was, I was hammered.
Yes.
And then yeah, Ryan Mervis at the time, he was the bartender. He walks up to me, and it's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, everything's spinning. He walks up to me, looks me in the eyes, and he's like, "You're gonna puke right now."
No.
And I fucking just vomited everywhere.
You know who used to get me so fucked up? Punky. Because
Yeah.
she'd make the strongest drinks. I'd be like, Punky, like just one drink, like a small drink, because I have to drive. And she'd be like, oh, it's okay, I got you.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
got
like,
you, girl.
no, you're not helping me. You're actually making it so I can't leave here now. And I have to stay for the next 5 hours to sober up because I have no clue how much I drank because there's no, that wasn't just a regular drink.
Bro, a punky double is not like a
It's
regular
like-
double. Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So sick.
Same thing with whenever my wife comes to visit and Punky's bartending, my wife can last about an hour before she's like, I gotta go home. I was like, well, you don't want to hang out? She's like, no, it's not that I don't want to hang out. I'm just fucked up right now.
Yeah.
And we can't have a conversation.
I mean, I've definitely been super fucked up there, just not close to throwing up because I try to know my limit when I get
Well,
there.
yeah, but like also
Smart.
you're lucky because when I first started going there, it was like in my early 20s, so I feel like it was just like a free for all more.
So was that
I was
three-
like,
Trying to
fuck
keep
it.
up.
early 20s, 3 years
let
ago?
me grow
Was it-
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like weird about drinking now.
I don't really drink that much now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel like I've switched
I'm
to
stoner.
marijuana.
Because like I can't be hungover.
Not now.
I can't be hungover in my 30s.
Yeah.
Are you fucking insane?
This shit hurts.
I
gonna
actually said that to Arthur today because he showed up hungover. I was like, Arthur, in text. I was like, we're in our 30s. We need to handle this. Like, I literally lectured him.
I'm like, I'm wearing a prairie dress. I can't do
championed.
that hungover.
He
Can I get a
championed.
little coffee?
Please pour yourself some coffee.
I can't be hungover. Can I get a little coffee?
Here.
It's
Do you want me to be a barista?
1:30 in the afternoon.
take
I love it. You know, I mean, you've known me since I was working at the Starbucks.
Oh yeah, the Starbucks. Can I say what location?
Yeah, go ahead.
Studio City location.
Yep.
I think about how you used to work at that Starbucks all of the time because I pass by that Starbucks.
Tell
all
us
the
some
time.
insider Starbucks.
Oh, I probably stole about $50,000
Don't
from
say that.
Starbucks.
No.
Yeah,
Hasn't
absolutely.
been 7 years yet, Frank.
Yeah. Not like
Statute
money
of
wise, but
Is it 7
definitely
years?
like
Probably
food
out of the
and
7 years.
product.
I feel like
Statute
we
of
just
limitations.
we're gonna be like something was just like deeply revealed, and
Yeah.
now
No.
we're gonna get interviewed by.
Hey, thank you, Starbucks, for honestly financing the first
Honestly,
7
I bet
years
you
of my
they'll give it
career.
to you because you know.
Supporting artistic talent. That's the least
Yeah.
that Starbucks could do. Giving back, dude.
Dude,
Fuck
I
yeah,
would,
you got a Starbucks sponsorship.
Absolutely.
A scholarship.
yeah, I would purposely work the shifts because there were shifts where they would mark out food and stuff, like all those boxes of food, and they were still good for a few days afterwards. So I'd work those shifts. I'd mark out a bunch of food, and we would split it with the employees, and I would literally just have salads and shit. That's how I
That's
got
amazing.
by as a fucking poor comic for the
I
longest
respect
time.
you, Frank.
Yeah.
I got by on a lot of like frozen things.
Yeah.
A lot of frozen things. Too many frozen things to count.
Oh, those are the fun times,
Ramen?
though. Yep.
A lot of ramen for. I remember like I needed a job so bad, and my parents were like, "You have to get a job. Like this is getting out of control." And I was like, "It's fine. I have like $32 in my bank account. It's gonna be fine."
Yeah.
Just being like so poor as a comic, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It gives you such bad anxiety. You never want to do that again.
Absolutely. But it's different when you have parents that like. There's a multitude of different kinds of parents. There's like the supportive parents who are like, we still
Yeah.
believe in you, blah, blah. And then there's the parents who are like supportive, but they're also like, you know, if you want to get a regular job to support you. And like,
Yeah,
and then-
every day.
Yeah.
You know, what's that plan B? You have a plan B? No, I'm not. I'm fully doing this. Well, you have a college education. You could totally, get a job somewhere, like maybe as a receptionist. I'm like, I'm not.
Did
gonna
you
be
ever have a job
receptionist.
like that?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
all of those shitty
Yeah,
jobs.
same.
I was a babysitter for most of the
I
time that I
remember
did
that.
stand up.
Yeah.
I was a nanny, and that was exhausting.
I feel like that's a popular job for. I know a couple comics that do
insane.
that as
It's-
like, and I'm like, how do you raise other people's children?
you raise other people's kids, and you're so
Think
tired,
about
and then
that.
you do stand up,
Yeah, like I
and
don't
you're
know.
like,
I'm raising kids I don't like.
yeah,
I
and
feel
you
like
can't yell at.
that's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
job I couldn't do. Like I did it as a kid growing up. Like
You nannied other kids?
I was a babysitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like when I got older, I started off in the restaurant industry,
Yeah, me
like
too,
at
yeah.
15, as soon as I could get a job, and because in Vegas, that's what it is, hospitality.
Yeah.
And then I worked in the hotels and then like had I worked in a tanning salon. Like I had all kinds of
Did you?
all kinds of corporate jobs. Oh, I cleaned up semen and fucking sweat. Yeah, dude, 2 dudes went in there and I was like, why would they
one
want to
dude
go?
came
And
out.
both came out. Both came out. Let's just say that.
Both
Yeah.
came out.
So I was like, next time people ask to go in there together, I'm going to be like, no, that's okay. You guys, it's like an individual solo journey. Like what? Yeah.
A tanning salon?
I can sell ice to Eskimos. Like literally, I'm literally selling like the sun, like fake sun.
What do you mean
know?
ice to Eskimos?
Like if you can sell,
Elaborate, please.
Okay, so at this salon, they
Is
would.
that a phrase? I've never heard it.
Yeah,
So, like-
Eskimos have a lot of ice, so
Basically
why
what
would
I'm
they
saying-
need more?
Got it.
Basically, what
She's
I'm
a
saying.
really
Is
good
that a
salesman.
saying?
Yeah, like basically.
I'm like, that's
You
innovative.
sell condoms to a Mormon. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So,
like
Okay.
basically like it's like they have these like
Ice to an
lotions that are
Eskimo?
$100. Like
Yo,
I can if I
she's
can sell
tripping
that,
on
I can
that.
sell anything.
I remember that tanning. Okay, I was obsessed with tanning salons. I had a period of time where when I went to college, in my college ID, you could only see the whites of my eyes. And
Oh my God,
teeth.
were you Rachel Dolezal
I was
in high school?
like fully dark, and in like when I went to prom, I had an Indian date, and I got spray tanned, and I was I was like darker than him.
Oh,
No,
man,
it's
we're
like
gonna have to
I
cut
could
all
maybe
this.
get canceled if somebody saw some of these photos.
I
I'm
feel
like,
like-
what is happening with this bitch? I'm like, sorry, I did a level 3 bronzing spray.
Level 3, that's now blackface.
That is now blackface.
Yeah.
yeah, it's only level 2 and up. No, anything level 2 and up is now blackface.
I was like living in Orange County, living a different life. I was like, I guess I just have to be tan now and paint my nails
so
hot
that's
pink.
my point is like I did all these like weird I've done all these weird jobs and then I did a whole corporate America stint. I did a
You
stint
did?
in corporate.
How was corporate?
I was so bad at it, you guys. I was always the outcast, always like people.
because the people that are in corporate
Terrible.
are
So
different.
square.
They're square. They're
By
not
the book.
fun. Yeah.
HR
anything
people?
different or weird is like out. Like I just would never show up on time. You know,
I
like,
would never show up on
never
time.
show up on time. I was out. I would always have like a funny comment for something, and it's like supposed to be a very serious environment. And like I just like I'm my own person. I have my. If there was a dress code, I'd always break it. Like you know.
I got in such big trouble because I was working at Bloomingdale's in an office in Bloomingdale's, and my boss sat me down and said, "Sarah, you have been late 35 times this year. If you continue to be late, I have to fire you.
Yeah,
I don't want to
legally.
have to
How
fire you."
dope of a manager was that?
Yeah,
though?
she goes, I don't want to have to fire you. I think that maybe this is not the job for you, and maybe you should get into something else that you actually like,
Yeah.
that you'll show up to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So then I quit, and then I got hired for this babysitting job, and it was like this crazy kid. He was mean. He was
How old was the kid?
He was 7, but he had like he was like the meanest, fattest
The
7-year-old.
meanest 7-year-old I've ever met.
No, like insane.
He bullied you.
He bullied me. Okay, so this is what happened. It was him and his sister.
Was he a fat kid?
He was a fat kid. He was an adopted fat kid.
Oh no.
The worst kind
So
of
he was
fat
carrying
kids. No, I
all
like
this-
adopted kids.
Like, and he was like in an open adoption where he could still see his biological parents. So he was all kinds of fucked up.
Always
An open
confused.
adoption where they're allowed to adopt other kids too.
We're
Is-
like,
okay.
it was like very confusing. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever. So we had all these issues, and the parents were like, you know, you're like the 5th babysitter in the last 3 months, so hopefully this is gonna work. And
They opened with that.
yeah, and like by the end of week 1, I couldn't get him out of his room. He was in his room, rocking back and forth, drumming to Eminem. And I tried to open the door. He's like, "Get out, bitch!"
Oh my god.
And the last time I saw him, he said to me, "I'm gonna get you fired." And then he did. He got me fired.
Bosses that like stick up for you and stuff like those are like
I've had,
very rare, but so
Mentor
important.
boss?
Yeah.
A good boss?
A good boss.
Let's talk good bosses.
Okay, I had one good boss
yeah.
in corporate America, and he was the CEO of a pizza company, which is like obviously dope. And he hired me to do social media for his organic pizza company in Florida. And he had tattoos, and he like didn't care that I smoked weed, and like he would like take us out to lunch as like the whole office, and like let us drink, and like paid us well, and he was like my mentor. And like no one else was like him. So yeah, but everyone else sucked.
Yeah.
Give that to him
He was
now.
a good
Totally.
boss.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because he marketed food. And like I'm like, he cares about food. He's a good person. Like if you can work with anything, you work with food. I think odds are you're mostly a good person.
Absolutely.
You know,
I'd rather you work with food than animals.
banking.
Yeah.
Some people who work with animals are a little weird.
Yeah.
Just saying. You ever see the women who work with birds? Insane bitches.
You're gonna get trolled by
The bird community is coming for me.
Horse girls are a different type of people.
Horse
for
girls?
sure.
Whole different breed.
Okay, here's the thing.
Whole different breed.
Here's the problem. I've judged horse girls my entire life. This morning, I actually had a very sweet interaction with a horse for the first time.
In that dress?
Horse girl. Yeah, in that dress.
In this dress.
I think
That
that's
is a
why
real-
that makes sense as to why you dress like that.
No.
Those are your neighbors.
She was like, "Do you also own a horse?"
Like, no, I'm just in the neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Like.
I was a basketball girl.
Oh, okay. Did you play basketball back in the day?
Yes.
How? Like really well?
From 5th grade up until like my first 2 years of college.
Holy shit!
Damn.
You
Yeah.
could,
Like,
yo,
I
can
can
you
ball.
dunk?
I can't dunk.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But I'm like,
She can
I'm
ball.
sick.
Can you hit threes?
Yeah.
You look like you can hit threes.
I'm good on defense. I'm a 2. I'm a shooting guard.
Uh-huh.
But like I would when I was younger, like in middle
I'm a
school,
2.
I would be the
I know
only
what that
girl
means.
on
I
the
know.
guys team.
Yeah.
And then like when I was younger, I was like a forward. But then I got older and everyone got taller because I'm 5'8", but I'm
Yeah.
not in high school. Girls are like 6
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like built. So then I transitioned to a 2. I was a shooting guard. But I
Wow.
also could play point guard if the point guard needed to break because I can dribble, I can shoot, and I can play defense.
Damn, where's the NBA, WNBA? when we
I
get-
wanted to be in the WNBA, but I would get hurt. Like I would break bones because I'm
Oh.
also like,
Fragile?
I'm
Like
like a little
bone
skinny,
decency?
bony chick. Like you know,
Hmm.
I would go and try and like,
You look like you could D up.
I would like, one time I
D
broke
up?
my
Yeah,
Does that
defense.
mean
so-
like take D?
Yeah,
No.
I can take a D. I can take a
Sorry.
D.
I'd like to D up right now.
I'm D up.
Wait a minute.
I can take a D. I'm always on the D. No,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're good at basketball? You can take a D well?
Yeah,
That's dope. And
defense.
Sarah's like, what the fuck is this podcast about?
No idea
Sports.
anymore. I'm like, yeah. I
Yeah.
stay taking D.
Huge. Basketball was a huge part of my life growing up.
That's dope.
Yeah, I want to play now, but like I'll get hurt because
Yeah.
I'm like very
My parents have a
aggressive.
hoop.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's play.
Hey, mom and dad.
I'm down to
parents got a
play.
hoop.
I want to join.
My mom is always like, yo, let's play some basketball. I'm like, you are almost 50.
I am so bad at basketball. I tried it
I loved it.
for a year. I was the shortest one on the team.
That's okay.
I was like
What
4'11".
what sports were you good at?
Soccer. And by good, I mean
I was so bad at it.
decent.
Good play.
Decent.
I did it for a long enough to get good, but never to get into like a club team. Never onto like varsity team. But I was the best player on JV.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That
Did
was
you
me.
have like a nickname playing soccer?
Yeah, spark plug. They would call. You're welcome. You didn't think I was gonna have one, did you? They would call me the spark plug.
Sarah Sparkplug
They would
Weinshenk?
just put they'd be like, we're gonna put the spark plug in here. 'Cause I had high energy.
Yo, where's the plug?
I was high energy, and I was like shorter and fatter than everyone, so I could just run into them. Like I would play it almost like it was like contact football,
Yeah.
and I was like good at it. I would like body slam bitches. So
I could see you body slamming.
now
Oh my God.
I was an aggressive little soccer player.
I was terrible at soccer. I would just my mom. That was the first sport she put me in
Uh-huh.
when I was a baby, like when you're really really young. And while everyone was playing, I would be picking the flowers, but I would
That's
always
cute.
be the first one in line for snacks because I didn't give a fuck.
Absolutely.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
Snacks during soccer? Did you do soccer?
No, I did
Just soccer?
Little league baseball.
Baseball as well.
And
I
I
did
was
softball.
always, I was always staring at the golfer holes. That was me.
In the
So
outfield.
Yep.
Would your mom be trying to get you to pay attention?
My mom and my dad. Yes. Yeah. By
My
the way,
mom's same.
my dad was like a legit baseball prospect. Like he
Yeah.
was scouted by colleges. He was gonna have like a whole thing, and then he got like a knee injury, and you know, he had me and shit. So like,
he was like, Come on.
Yeah.
Take
Right.
it back.
Yeah. He came from genetically he could have been a very dope athlete. Like he's he's got all the makings of and then to see his son, his fucking spawn, just staring at a golf hole in the back fucking in the outfield. He's just like, ugh, this is what it's come to. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes my dad played baseball as a kid.
Did your dad play baseball in high school here?
I don't know if he played it in high school, but he played it a lot as a kid.
My dad played baseball in high school here and basketball at Grant.
When people
did your dad go to Grant?
Yeah, our dads went to the same.
When
high school.
people know that you're there's something interesting about being in high school and being or college and being a star athlete and still staying in the town.
Yeah.
People around San Jose know and remember my father from when he played
That's
baseball.
wild.
Which is such a weird kind of
Well, that's such a part of American culture too, and small town culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The football team is the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The local heroes.
the way you said
I
the
did.
quarterback.
I was channeling my inner cheerleader. Could you tell?
Yeah. Were you a cheerleader?
No. Okay. I wanted to be a cheerleader, but I'm just not coordinated enough for that.
Totally.
I couldn't. I couldn't.
Totally.
I hung out with everybody. I hung out with all the weird theater girls. I couldn't get down with them though because they were so theater that it was okay, you guys are so theater. It's embarrassing to be around.
You're
Yeah. Absolutely. No. Yeah. It's a time limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're alt theater, way.
Did
less.
any of those theater kids accomplish anything in theater? Or are they all regular
No,
people
they're
working
probably
at
all regular people, but they were they would wear
yeah, no, they took it so seriously.
so seriously.
Yeah.
What is that?
Thespians.
I don't know.
Thespians.
It's hysterical because I still follow, and I could give a shit less if they watch this, but I still follow I follow a lot of them on Instagram, and it's so funny, and the ones that wanted to be actors and all that jazz, and it's just some of them.
What do they do now?
One of them, one of my good friends, who I think is if I ever got into if I ever had my own show, he'd be the first person where I'm you're coming because you know what you're doing and you actually
You went to school.
yeah you know exactly you actually are the one person I would personally have close to me because I know and trust what you're doing. Then there's other people where I'm bro, you just always liked movies like that.
Yeah.
It's like start the family, own a house, that's fine, but give up on the dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just because you're good at an improv game.
Yeah. Listen, you killed it junior year of high school.
Drama
You really,
too.
yeah, you rocked it. But start that family, dog.
Posting monologues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the cheerleaders. Well, I went to all girls school, so there was weird cliques, and there was this weird group of experimental lesbians that were really good at science. No, I swear. So I partnered with one of the girls who was really good at science.
Uh-huh.
She was your partner?
Yeah, we had to do dissections, and I did not
Was
want
she
to do it.
just staring at you the whole time she was doing it?
And she was scary, a little witchy, but
Oh,
great
whoa.
at science.
A little witchy.
All girls school has all types of girls.
Oh, no,
it's
absolutely.
double the girls.
All the girls.
Every type of girl you could ever imagine.
Tell me about
There
it.
was one girl, I used to ask her every day for a pen because I never came
She was the pen girl?
prepared. I'd be I'm going to ask her. She was this really sweet, quiet Asian girl. Her name was Colette. I'm not going to say her last name, but I go, hey, Colette, can I get a pen? And one day she just looks at me and goes, no. And
Wow.
I turn back around and I go, okay. It felt so awkward.
Did you
'cause
give
I
her
was-
back the pen?
No, she just straight up knowed me. She
No.
didn't even give me.
I mean, but was this the first time you ever asked her?
No.
Oh, okay.
I had asked her many times.
But the other time she'd always have a pen for you.
No.
No.
The other time she also said no.
Oh, okay.
But I would just in the moment be let's see if I can get her on my side today. I need a pen. I'm
Yes.
fucked. And she just said no. She would just go no.
Where would you get a pen from then?
I would ask everyone around me if they had pens. And then the teacher was Sarah, why are you talking? And I was because I'm just, I need to get a pen. And she's why don't you have pens? And I'm well, I'm just using it as a way to get to know my neighbors. So then she had a day called Borrow Pen from Your Neighbor Day.
The whole teacher?
The whole class
The
did.
teacher did for the whole class?
The whole class,
Oh,
yeah.
my
That's
God.
nice.
We started a day.
So
a
who
pen
did you
borrowing day.
lend pens to?
Nobody.
I I don't know.
She didn't have any
She
pens.
didn't have
All I
any pens.
remember, I never had pens. I never had anything. I could also never remember my locker combo. I'm really bad with numbers.
My God.
I'm really bad with numbers.
That is so funny that you say that, because it's like you completely look like the kind of person who does not remember their locker combination.
That's adorable.
Like that is like if I were to describe
to be fair,
Sarah,
those are so terrible. Like you have to like walk around school as a little person and remember like 17 numbers in an order.
You know what my favorite part about high school was getting in a relationship with someone and then sharing a locker with them and then breaking up, and then you gotta like go and take your shit out of a locker.
I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to do
Bro,
that.
that happened to me once, and it was the most embarrassing thing. It's like
adorable.
moving your shit out of between 4th and 5th period during lunch, and everyone just staring at you.
Frank, you left
adorable.
your magnet in my locker.
Oh, dude, hysterical.
I had lockers. I went to like religious schools, and then I went to like a lockdown my senior year of high school in Utah. That was ran by Mormons.
Oh my God.
Yep.
What was the name of that school?
Discovery Academy. Yeah. It's wild.
That's crazy.
And you weren't allowed to like pass notes, but we did. That was like a thing. You weren't allowed, like it was co-ed, but you weren't allowed to talk
It's
to
like
the boys.
kiting in prison.
It was kind of like prison, but like it was like kid prison. Like you, I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of like prison, but not really. Like you weren't allowed to leave.
Was it
and
like-
there were bars on the windows. Like it was fucked.
Fuck that.
That's crazy.
But yeah.
Do you remember like your first crush in elementary school?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody? Yeah.
Who's
You
yours?
could follow him on Instagram now.
Who's yours?
Me?
Yeah.
It was, I'm not going to say the name because I do follow them on Instagram.
Okay.
Mostly because a lot of the crushes I still had or people that I still liked, I still follow on Instagram because I take thorough enjoyment
And
in
following
watching how their life has panned out.
No, you're one
Yeah.
of those. A
Absolutely. No, in the
The
sense
guy has
that
10,000
we all
followers
are.
now. You
no,
guys can-
but it's also like this
holding on to
this
the
is no,
Fourth
this,
grade crush.
not even, because I look at it like this, where it's like, you know, I'm so happy in everything that I'm doing and what's going on. I look at like it's almost looking like, oh, this is what it would look like if I made that choice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I would be with 2 kids that I, you know, would have been a dad. And then I'm like, I probably would have been that into it. You know what I mean? Because I love doing this. And then I know if I would have had a kid, I'd be like, if I have a kid now, it's different than like having a kid and like wondering what if. You know what I mean? Because I think you hold a little bit of
You can
resentment.
still have a kid one day.
Absolutely, but the resentment of not pursuing comedy won't be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You can't.
What I'm saying is I probably would have killed our kid and my
Totally.
wife at the time.
Bathtub
Yeah,
style.
absolutely. You know
And
what I
then you
Sorry.
would have gotten a Netflix special.
100%.
Done it,
Sorry,
baby.
it was just birthday. I got to do 5 minutes in Brea.
I for real would have been that dad.
Yeah, that's
I
how I
don't-
would have
I
been.
don't-
I would have been that too. It's like, sorry, you're gonna have to feed the baby yourself tonight. I'm not breastfeeding. I got a set in San Jose.
Bro, yeah, I'd have been
It's
like,
not paid, but I really needed the time.
yeah. Hey, congratulations on that, game-winning touchdown. But bro, I got picked 7th on the potluck, and I got to
gotta
beat
go
traffic.
sign up.
Literally what it was. That's what it was. My friends would be like, "Are you available to hang out?" Like my high school friends or college friends would be like, "No, absolutely not. I have 2 shows tonight, neither of which are paid, but that's what I'm doing."
Yeah.
And like there's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
Yeah,
What is that?
yeah.
Sickness
Mental
or
illness.
love?
No,
I
think,
miss stand up, like just being able to do it like that
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. And
I feel like your favorite drug is just gone.
it really,
You're
really,
like
Horrible.
wake up in the night in cold sweats.
yeah, no. The
Feels
first,
like our cult has left us.
yeah. The first time I did stand up after coronavirus, I was just like, oh shit, yeah, I'll die for this.
Yeah, that's how I
Yo,
feel.
yeah, I'll kill all your uncles. No, I'm just. I do miss
Yeah.
doing stand up.
Me too.
I did The Window for the first time.
The window of opportunity.
The Window of Opportunity at the store. I did it for the first time after you brought me up, and I was like, it was my first time on stage since March, and I was like, okay, that felt as good as I thought it would, which was amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what heroin's like, but it has to be similar.
Pretty close.
Right?
it's funny too because like I've gotten into a lot of arguments with people these past few days about comedy and just what it is and all that jazz. And when you do it every day and you do make some kind of money for it, paying your bills with it or not, and it is part of making a living.
Part of your soul.
It really, it really hurts when you can't do it.
It's the saddest thing in the world.
Yeah. So it was interesting arguing with people because I argued with a few people about it because they were just like, being dumb.
What do you mean?
So, so I had made that big comment because someone had, called the health department on the Comedy Store because they were going to be doing outside shows. So I was basically defending outside shows and how calling the health department's a bitch move, and it's not about actually saving anybody. It's just a malicious thing that this person was doing. You know what I mean?
It's someone who's not getting spots or something.
Or just like they think they're helping everybody when in reality they're not. They're only hurting their
sad.
peers.
But I also feel like there's tons of outdoor shows.
100%. And it's also like we're right next to the Saddle Ranch, who's
Always
Oh
Oh
back.
my
Always
God, the
packed.
Saddle
Always back.
Ranch is a fucking nightclub
So,
outside.
yeah.
Every TikToker
I
is
used
like
to work
fucking-
there. I used to
no,
work there.
yeah, it's
hilarious.
When I was
literally
19.
a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And all up in the street, maskless, whatever.
Yep.
So that's fine. And and they can go and like put their dicks on the bull. Meanwhile, you can't have a nice, safe outdoor show
So, yeah, and that was the thing that I
in
was...
the name of comedy because
Yeah.
people are haters.
That's what I was upset at. Was like, so the store, I mean, you think the store's not going to do their best to try to follow some kind of protocol? Like, they're already shooting
Well, it is
TV,
the store.
100%. But they're shooting TV with guidelines. So it was like, there's no guidelines for live shows. So what the plan was, what I assume was, they were making up some kind of proposal to take to the health department. Someone jumped the gun and posted about the shows and the outside shows, and then someone snitched and called the health department before they could even begin to talk.
That's
which-
bad juju.
It's 100% bad juju. And so I was
Should I start saying juju?
juju. But what I was saying,
Yes, juju.
the thing that I got in arguments with people were just like, they were like, how bad are you, like, how bad can you, do you really need to be on stage for 10 minutes? Like, how bad can you, like, you can't just stop doing
You
stand-up?
do.
And it was just one of those things
can't.
of, like, it was like, well,
Well, there are two kinds of people in
there's,
this world.
it's also like, we're all on different levels. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I paid my bills. Like, not even just doing the stand-up, but also as a comedy club, being open at a place where I worked, that has to be open for me to also work and pay my bills, answering phones, doing whatever the fuck that I was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where my position was. So people were like, some people thought I was being elitist by being, very adamant about like, no, I get paid to do this. You don't, and it's different for you if you don't,
But
because
it
you don't
is
know what it's
different
like.
because it's like when when you know that you're gonna get $1,000 for a
100%.
weekend. That's the difference between paying your rent and not paying your rent.
That's what I was
Everyone,
saying.
yeah, it's all about our own realities that we live in, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of understanding that one person's reality is different than another, and like we need to be understanding and accepting, and like realize like, yeah, this thing is horrible, but like, putting a little comedy show outside safely is way more safe than the fucking shit show at Saddle Ranch at the Bunny
Wait.
Ranch down the fucking street.
Let me tell you the greeting I used to have to say to people when I worked at Sara Ranch.
Tell us.
Hey, welcome to Sara Ranch. My name's Sarah. You hungry? You ready for some great steaks? Right this way.
Jesus.
Then I had to say this. You should try the peach cobbler. It's like the reason I work here. I've never tried the peach cobbler, mind you. Okay.
Wow.
And then they also made me say, if there was a wait, I'd say, come on, first round of shots on me, guys. And then I'd look at the bartender and I'd be like, hey, Kevin, can I get these 4 round? Thanks. And then I had like all of these things they would make me do.
Was the rounds covered?
She looks like she works at the fucking
Yeah,
Saddle
yeah,
Ranch.
I just
I mean-
became myself working at Saddle Ranch.
Did they
for a second.
make you wear that dress?
No, they made me wear a shirt that said "Cheaters will be shot at the Saddle Ranch," and I would tie it up like this, and then I'd have to wear a bandana on my head, and I would make. It was like 2000 this was a long time ago. This was like 2007.
Oh, wow.
or 2006, I would make like a lot of money a night working at Saddle Ranch. And
Yeah.
I would just spend it all on clothes. I'd make like $600 selling bull rides at Saddle Ranch.
That's sick.
I mean, when you're 19, you're like, fuck yeah, I work at the Saddle Ranch and my life's
Dude,
tight.
it would be dope if they put a mask on the bull. They should. They need to protect it at all costs.
They
Ripley's.
absolutely should. You guys want to do some dabs?
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we can go ahead and take a. I mean, not that we're gonna take a break, but you know, we're gonna get some dabs ready and such. Do you remember the first time we met, both of you guys? Because I feel like it was smoking weed, obviously. Which one?
I remember the first time Weinshenk and I met.
I remember the first time we met, too.
It was at Vanessa's. Yeah. I went up there. I was like, I love you. And you were like,
And I was weird, right?
yeah.
And I was weird, right?
She was
I
weird.
was weird, because I was like, who is this bitch? She was like, oh, I'm really weird, we should be friends. And I was like,
No?
really nice, and then we became friends.
Yeah. That's
But
how
I
it happened.
remember exactly when that was.
Yeah.
It was that weird, we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
That was at some. That
Gotta
was
hold the
at
mic.
this. That was at this bar in West Hollywood.
It was
It
a
was
gay
Vanessa
bar.
Johnston show.
What's that bar called? Rage?
A place called Rage. So that was like an appropriate reaction at a place called Rage.
Oh, Rage. I
The
remember,
first
I
time-
remember I wasn't that friendly, and I remember thinking, wow, Sarah, you were not that friendly. You could have been more friendly.
I want to say
We used to talk a lot of shit when we first started hanging out.
We did?
Yeah.
I believe it.
It was because we'd go around the corner, we get stoned.
We get that by the stairs.
Yeah.
The secret spot in the corner.
Because we were both trying to get in, going through the open mics, and we
Yeah.
would just. It was funny because we would just shit on people.
Yeah, but some people deserve to be shot
It
on.
definitely felt very mean girlsy.
Especially at
yeah.
potluck.
I just
Yeah.
feel like for me, it's like I feel like both of you are, and I'm the same way. Like, I feel like I'm not. I feel like the Comedy Store, it's not like a friendly establishment. Does that make sense?
I could see that if you were just coming into the Comedy Store, I could see how it would be unfriendly.
If you
and
had-
it's not friendly to everybody all of the time.
Yeah. If you
There's some
turn
yeah.
around.
So when I first met you, that was
no,
the
go.
reaction. I wasn't like surprised. I was like, okay, this is like an appropriate reaction for the community that I'm new to, But I was like,
It
you
can
know?
be a little clicky, right? Doesn't it feel like that?
This is what I think of it like this. This is what was explained to me when I first started coming in. It was that it's like they were like it's like
oh, is this mine?
oh, they explained it to me. What?
I'm taking it down.
Oh yeah, take it.
Here.
Down. They said it's like a it's like a now that I think about the way it's explained, this is just gonna get me in trouble. No, they were like it's like a hot chick. The more you like want to go out with her, the less she's gonna be interested in you. And he was like, you got to play hard to get, and I was like, what? And then I understood it the more I hung out, in the sense that it's like the more you like actively are trying to prove that you belong, and the more you like because we
the
see
more
it.
you rub people the wrong way.
The more you rub people
and
the
you're
wrong
like,
way.
what do you want from me?
Yeah,
too?
what are you doing? And then it's less about that,
Yeah.
and it's more about just you're already doing it. You're already here.
Yeah.
Just let your work and let your
Yes.
comedy speak for itself.
Yes.
You know? Be hard to get.
Well, then there's also people where they're like, where they act like they know you and you've never met them before.
Yeah,
And you're like, I have no idea who you are at all.
yeah, and I think
Oh my God, that happens a lot.
we've been friends for a long enough time, and through different. I absolutely hate to say this because it makes you sound like an absolute fucking dick. Through the different stages of my career, in the sense that you met me when I first came to Los Angeles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then
we're friends.
We're friends. So when
Yeah.
I got passed and all that jazz, so when you get to like see people and they approach you, especially it was like, oh, you're talking to me like Sarah talks to me,
Yeah.
and I've known her for years.
right.
Why are you talking to me that friendly right now? Is it because I just happen to be hosting the potluck at the Comedy Store right now? It's crazy that
Yeah.
right now is the intro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'd meet the most people on Mondays when I was hosting potluck,
Yeah.
and that shit bugged me.
hosting potluck, least favorite activity in the world for me.
Absolutely.
The most stressful thing I've ever done. I hated every second of it.
What do you remember? What I told you?
What did he say?
I don't know.
I think I remember you. I found out you were hosting, and I called you, and I was like, I either called you or texted you. I was like, hey, I'll give you the rundown.
I do remember we talked about it.
And I remember coming up to you and being like, I remember just like cutting straight to him, like, this is what's going to happen. It was like, people are going to ask you for a lot of shit. You don't have to get them up. And fuck them if they ask you.
Yeah, you did say that.
And I was like, get up all the people Adam wants you to get up all the door guys. If there's someone that you want to get up, that you think is funny, that you think needs to be seen or like hasn't gotten their shot or whatever, but you're willing to go out of your way and put your neck on the line for them, like give like one person that shot, you know?
Because people be showing up that you've never even had a conversation with, acting like they've known you for your whole
they know
life.
your
Bro.
They're like, and you're like, just because I'm a nice person and I'm nice to you all the time doesn't mean I'm going to put you up.
Yep.
Don't make me feel bad.
People are like, they're like, you know what? Frank's really, really nice. He gets stoned. He's fucking fun. You know what I mean? He works the door. That's my guy. That's, you know what I mean? And then there's like, yo, Frank changed. It's like, no. I've always been this way. I just think I'm just noticed when people start to fuck with me, you know?
Well, it's also interesting how you can notice people treating you different throughout different stages of your
Absolutely.
career. When you're like, oh no, now you're acknowledging me, but all those years before you never even said hi.
Yeah. It was like, oh, because you started opening up for this person, you would never fucking show me attention or whatever or try to fuck with me.
Yeah, what is there like a resentment there?
For me, no, it's not it's, how do I put this? I want to choose my words carefully because people, it may look like resentment.
It doesn't come off that way. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
Is like, what's the vibe? Because I'm going through the same thing. Like, I feel like that it's like, comedy is like not a place to make friends. Like, I'm lucky I have Weinshenk. She's a genuine friend. I have like a few you know what I mean? Like, I know Frank, you're a good person, whatever.
I hate it when people are like, oh, but he's a funny guy or he's a nice guy. It's like, no. We're in this business of funny.
Yeah.
If they're not funny, I don't care how nice they are. We know enough people that are hysterical, that are assholes, and we're only friends with them because they're funny. You know what I mean? And it's like, he's an asshole, but you know what? When he does his job, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He really shines.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, unbearable. Can't
unbearable.
even stand him personally myself. Don't even know why I carpooled with him here. However, when he's on stage,
you drove.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He convinced you to drive, this fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But goddamn, he's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she.
It's so...
I already, yeah.
I'm like, like staying in my own lane now.
100%.
I'm like, I'll come back. Like, I like taking time in nature, like actually going to sleep at a reasonable hour. I do like that part of pandemic. It seems weird to be like, oh, I can actually go to bed a little early.
It's reminding me to be, this is what, I'm glad coronavirus happened.
Yeah.
Because it's reminding me to be a calmer person, to really like, because you know when you're constantly in comedy and stuff, you're always in the mix and stuff.
You're like, I have another set.
Or like, you know, you're just like you know, back to what we were saying when you asked me, it's like it doesn't come from a place of bitterness. It comes from a place of like, you know, I've worked really hard to get everything that I've gotten, and I've done, and it's not even the correct path because there's different paths for everybody. It's like, if this is a martial art, I've been fucking in this dojo kicking the bag as hard as I can for as long as I can, you know? So when I see other people that I know are doing the same thing I am and aren't getting the shine, then it's like, you know, I want to do everything I can to help them.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But when you see people where it's like, yo, you're just, you know what I mean? Like, you are where you are, and that's great.
Yeah.
But there's certain people who are just better at this martial art. And, you know, you can't fake the funk because you're eventually going to be on the lineup with somebody. Yeah. And then they're going to be hard to follow, or you're just, it's not going to go well.
Yeah. I also think.
And we've seen it. You know what I mean?
There are so many amazing comedians that people don't even know that have been doing it for so long.
It kills me that Jill Chrissy, and this is her choice, but she was like, I'm taking a break of stand-up because she got tired of Hollywood stuff. And Jill Chrissy is...
She's super funny.
Hysterical. One of the funniest. And, you know, I got shit for cracking a joke about Sarah Cooper, but it was like, but what I said was honest. And it was like, yo, you're getting.
Who gave you shit for it?
Not funny people.
What'd you say?
I was just like, what I said wasn't even true because she's already getting a Netflix special. But this thing I said was, if Trump dies, one lip syncing comics career is going to be over.
Oh yeah, that was genius.
Yeah, it was
Love
really
that.
funny.
Knew
Yeah.
exactly what that was about.
But they gave her like a show and a special and stuff, and people were like, she's written books, blah, blah. It's like, that's fine. We're talking about stand-up. There's a reason her special is not going to be stand-up.
Yeah.
And it kills me when I look at people like Jill Chrissy, who wrote her one-woman show, who's a
Right.
fucking murderer.
Yeah.
And it's like, to see a person get discouraged with the way things are,
But you can't get discouraged.
then
You
quit.
have to keep
And that's
plowing
the
through,
thing.
and that's the difference.
it's tough.
It's the persistence, because it's relentless. It's
Yeah.
years and years of nothing. It's years
Absolutely.
and years of poverty. It's years and years of freaking out all the time
Absolutely.
about how you're gonna do this. Like, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
I think it's the persistence and the time, the combo.
Yeah. So, anyways, when I see people that are like, swinging their dicks who shouldn't be swinging their dicks, it's like, calm down, all right?
It's like, bitch, you got famous on TikTok.
Yeah. I also,
Hilarious.
especially when it comes to like stand up, because I've had to follow people who, got to where they are at, and then they have to follow like a real person who's only done stand up in clubs every single night. I mean, this is obviously pre-corona. I heard of a story of a comic who was on JFL auditions. They found out they were going up after a certain comic, and they were like, I didn't want to follow them. They're just so tough to follow. And I'm like, if you're worried about who you have to follow at a JFL audition, then you shouldn't be doing it, or you shouldn't
Right.
be there, or you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally.
So much of it is mental, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's like this weird mental aspect of it, of like being like, okay, no, I know I can do this. Like talking yourself off ledges all the
Yeah.
time, talking your friends off ledges all of the time.
Mhm.
Like that whole part of stand up makes me feel like that's why you need stand up friends who are people
Yeah.
who totally get the
Yeah.
same thing that you're going through. Because if you talk to your friend who's in interior design about how you're
Yeah.
nervous for your JFL showcase, she'll be like, I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Just all you can do is prepare. And it's like that's not really
You just need
helping.
to organize. And
Yeah.
you're like, no, bitch, there's no.
Yeah.
You just.
I've been organizing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this last however many years.
Yeah.
It's just you don't know how every set's gonna go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes like certain people, like the comedy community, close knit, especially at the Comedy Store too, because you start to like get to know people, and then you're like, oh, I know their family, I know their kid, I know
Yeah.
like like that this person in their life died.
Yeah.
Like you start to know things about people.
You start. It's less of a coworker and more like, this is a person that is like my friend. This is a person that I care about. This is a person that like this is family. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I can make fun of them, but you can't make
Yeah.
fun of them.
You know what? That's so funny. I remember Quincy was one of the first people I ever met. Quincy Weekly at
love
the
him.
store. Great dude. And I remember I remember the day he considered me a friend. Like, I remember the exact day he considered me a friend. Because I remember when we first started hanging out, I was definitely annoying as fuck. Always hanging out, and just because he was a guy that worked there, and I want to be like, I want the guys that work at the store to like me.
Working potluck,
Yeah.
probably around the time we were doing potluck.
Yep.
And
yeah.
Willie Hunter.
Yep. So I remember remember UCLA used to have that show at the college bar. It was like
I didn't
Brew
do that
Haha
one.
or whatever.
Yeah. I
It
know.
was a great place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we were there, and some comic who like was just starting out, but like knew Quincy worked at the store, and me and him were just talking, right? Because we knew each other from the store, and I was like, "Oh, dope! Quincy's like talking to me." You know what I mean? Because it's like there's no one. He doesn't want to fucking talk to anyone else here.
Yeah.
You know? So we're like shooting a shit, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And this other comic tried to come into the circle and like shoot the shit with us, and he like made fun of Quincy, and Quincy was like, "What the fuck?"
No.
You know what I mean? He was like, "Why'd you make fun of me for being fat?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck
Aw.
does that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's neat.
It was like kind of like it was just off guard and fucked up, and we're like
Yeah.
walking to like get food, and he was like, "Isn't that fucked up? That guy just kind of like made fun of me." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's right." He was like, "See, man, you work at the store and people just assume shit, and they just come and they try to be so friendly." He's like, "I fucking hate that," you know. He's like, like if you were making fun of me, that's fine, you know, because we're friends. And if like I made fun of you, it'd be different, you know, because we're friends and shit. And I was like, we're friends. And we're like, oh my god, we're
You
friends.
got the F word.
And I was like, bro, yeah. In my head, I was just like, oh my god, yeah. And then Quincy was like, I'd fuck your mom. And then now we've been friends ever since.
And
yeah.
then he did.
Yeah, and then he did. Did you take a dab, or were you like, I'm scared?
I took
We
the
shared a dab.
leftover of her
She had
dab.
my leftover dab.
Do you dab often? No.
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 No?
Do you?
Yeah,
Flower.
Oh,
all the
you're
time.
Like a concentrate king.
I've been dabbing a lot more. Last night we were watching the UFC fights.
Probably gave him like a gram. Of
Yeah.
two or three dabs.
So
Really?
what he does is he ninja dabs me.
I'm sorry. What exactly is ninja dabbing?
He'll like set up his dab and be like, oh, I just want a small one, and then I'll heat him up, and then on the cap, on that bubble cap, I'll put like a half a gram.
Is that like a
Whoa.
roofie?
Can I get one?
A dab
But
roofie?
Not that big. Yeah,
Can I
regular.
get like
Got you.
a petite lady dab?
Got you, dog.
Baby
Petite
dabs.
prairie
I call
girl
them baby dabs.
Baby
Yeah.
dabs.
Micro dabs.
A micro dab.
That's
yeah.
adore. I love all this store stories.
Yeah. I mean, I get why it would be intimidating though.
Well, I'm just the babyest comic out of all of you, so
I don't consider you that.
or not babyest, but like newest to the. I still consider myself a young comic.
Well, your path was was different too because you were already kind of like everyone's path's different. You already came in funny.
And you
So
already
you
know how
weren't-
to write.
You also you weren't in the sense
Which
of
is
like
different
you
than a
weren't
lot of
like I'm
people.
starting out, I'm starting here. You were
Yeah.
like kind of already established enough to where when you came in you were like I'm already kind of funny. You know what I mean? And then you established yourself as oh no, I'm a funny person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
And,
didn't
yeah.
bomb for years and years to get funny.
I mean,
feel like.
and that's also a different path. I mean,
Well, I came at the end of my 20s versus
Yeah.
the beginning, and
Yeah.
I think that's why like
That's
everyone's
true.
path-
you know
That's
what
different.
I mean. But I also, when I got into stand up, my background was like such a weird path because I worked in the corporate side of comedy, like I worked for Levity,
Yeah.
and I was the social media manager for them for like a year in house, and then like obviously I was so bad at my job because it was corporate, like, but I loved that I was marketing comedy because for once, like again, it was like something that I cared about, and then like. So they like let me go after working there for a year, but they're like, you can work in the bar at the Hollywood Improv. And so I started bartending there for like 6 months, and then I got fired for that.
Yeah.
But then after that, I just like completely dedicated everything to stand up. But I was doing like the open mics behind the bar. No one would hear me, you know?
But also I feel like you're writing since you had the meme account and stuff.
Yeah.
You're in the
Well,
practice
I've always
of
been a
writing.
writer. Like, yeah, I've always
And that's
just
a
like.
skill that like takes some people longer to learn.
I don't know if I'm a writer trying to be a performer trying to be a writer, or if I'm a
It's-
hybrid of like a weird both.
There's a quote that I have on my wall that he makes fun of me all the time.
Oh, come on.
But you're gonna show him the picture?
I make fun of you because you wrote it on a piece of paper in pen.
Yeah.
and
I wanna
taped it to your
know- I
wall.
wanna know.
It says be a writer, be a stand-up that writes. Don't be a writer that does stand-up.
Be a stand-up that writes. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like I'm a performer.
Yeah, that's what I aspire. See, like for me, that's why as like such a you guys have more years on the stand-up side of it, you know, which is a baby comic in the stand-up side of it of like getting on stage. I just I too am like going through that serious withdrawal
Yeah.
because it's like I was just getting into my 4th year, which
Yeah.
if you're thinking about high school, that's like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and then it's
Yeah.
like freshman again. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely.
But like again, you know, your 4th year is when I started to like have more confidence in crowd work and like
Yeah.
really just not giving a fuck and like having a quick wit reply. And like Weinshenk was so cool. She's my I love Weinshenk. She's taken me on the road to some of the dopest like spots where she gives me 20 minutes, which is so rare. One is a
to work it
female in
out.
comedy
And
because
you need it.
yeah, because you need that time as a young comic. And Weinshenk, I would open for her. She would headline. And shout out to the Hood Bar in Palm Desert. We love
Yeah.
you.
We're
That
doing-
We
was
miss
also
the Hood.
that was also my favorite because I remember
favorite.
they would hit me up to go do it, and I was like, I
Yeah.
can't be able to drive out there.
But that's so rare because one,
But seeing you guys do
Yeah.
multiple shows and you were getting multiple sets
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's dope.
yeah, we see, you know,
do
it's
it.
rare for me, like, to have, like, I miss that time. Like, I just miss getting up on
We
stage.
would do I would get to do 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So it's like
so
worth
rare
it.
with a great crowd.
And you're not driving all the way to Vegas or the Bay
No,
Area.
and it
or
was
San
good
Diego.
money, and it was
Yeah.
a great
Tacos.
crowd. It was consistent.
Yeah,
We had our
tacos.
we had our
Taco
favorite dinner
spot.
spots.
Yeah.
We have our favorite, you know.
Dispensary.
in certain, in certain cities, you gotta like to line up spots to get that kind of time.
We
You
do
You're
Vegas.
doing 4 different 5 sets, but to be able to go to one place and get that
Yeah.
much time it's
Well,
amazing.
she would get that much time in Vegas too.
Yeah.
You'd headline there.
Vegas.
Yeah, but learning to write, like you were saying, like learning to write, and then being able to take that to the stage, and then also like being able to learn those two things, and then to get to the point where you're like, all right, I now know how to like write jokes, do a set, work on them in the set, and then the next set, expand on the shit that works, cut the shit that doesn't, and then constantly like to be able to get to that point in stand up and to learn that takes a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like watching you and your process, you've already started to, because you know, what's the saying? Steel sharpens whatever the fuck. Like when you're around good, when you're around other comics that are good and already like making the strides to get better, that you gain shit, like, you know what I mean, like that rubs off on you, you know what I mean. So being around Sarah, being around all the friends that you have that are already established and good, you skip levels in a sense, you know what I mean, because you're watching them work and you're like, oh, okay, it just makes your IQ in a sense get better.
And the thing that's crazy is even just having like a friend to talk to your set about.
Absolutely.
Or like on the way back.
That's what
like,
I mean.
Oh, you know what you're missing? You're missing this. Or sometimes
because
even
their
her,
point
she'll
of
be
view,
like, oh, you're missing that. And
100%.
I'm like, oh shit, I am missing that.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, like those type of exchanges, you need that.
Absolutely.
There's nothing better than getting a tag. Yeah.
Because it's different points of view, both different levels of comedy, and they see your friends know your comedy. They see you. They see you shit that you just may not notice or whatever the fuck.
Or when you think of a joke for someone else,
or a tweet,
absolutely,
or something, or a caption.
I remember Frank and I were writing one time, and he had an idea. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
By the way, you will never let me live this down. She tells this story every time.
I don't even know if I'm gonna tell it right. I'm
please,
sorry.
it's so great. Go ahead.
Now I'm like, what is it? No. Okay, he gave me a tag. Frank gave me a tag, and I was like, should I say it like this or should I say it like this?
Did it have a curse word in it?
No, I don't remember what the tag was. And he looks at me dead serious. He goes, you're going to have to figure that out for yourself.
Oh, my God.
And it was like so serious, so out of nowhere. He's like, you're going to have to.
I think
I've helped you up to this point. You're going to have to figure that out yourself. That's what you said.
No, what I said was, you're going to have to figure it out on stage.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I said. I was like, I think you're going to have to figure it out on stage. Because it wasn't even, it's so funny because I know I was so stoned when I said it.
You didn't mean it like
I didn't.
that?
I did not mean it
but he
like
meant
that.
he meant like on stage.
Yeah.
But he said, you're going to have to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay.
I only said that because it was definitely one of those things of like
you won't know until you do it.
Well, also in the sense of like, I know how I would say it.
But you don't know how it's going to work. Sometimes you don't know until you do it on stage.
You also don't know how you're going to say it until you say it on stage.
Or how the audience is going to
Yeah,
react.
because I didn't want to like give you how I would say it. You know what I mean?
I remember the way that you said it was so funny, and it was like the funniest thing. It was such
Maybe
Dude, I
that's
felt
how you
so
say
bad.
You're gonna have to figure that out for yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, it was man. I wish we could have recorded it
I
because
know,
it was like
so funny.
Dude.
I miss stand-up so much, you guys.
I know.
Any favorite bombs or like amazing?
I mean,
the best ones.
Okay. The most memorable bomb I have was from I think my last or 2 birthdays ago, and it was just like this weird ass show at a hotel downtown LA, and the lighting was terrible, so like they couldn't really see your face on stage, and the seating was weird, and the people were just like really pretentious. And I get up there and like I just lose it. Like I fucking lose it.
What
like,
do you mean by lose
I don't
it?
know. Like they were just stiff. They weren't even laughing at my good jokes. And I was like, dude, these are funny jokes, well-written jokes. I don't know. Maybe I'm not performing them well, but like you guys suck. Like you're not. But they also weren't giving anyone else anything. But I'm like pissed because I'm like, okay, you guys are just fucking assholes then because not me, it's you guys. But anyways, it was my birthday was the next day, and I was like, I knew it was going to be bad. Like I think I was getting my period too. I just was pissed, and I was like, I want to leave this one. I think I was turning 30. It was like a big one for me. I was like, let me bomb into my 30s.
Are the
like,
periods different when you turn 30? Like
I don't know. Like I just like
It's terrible.
I just like wanted to. I was like, let me bomb into my 30s. Like let me just bomb this one. Like it was like I had just started stand up. Like I knew it was. It was just like. This is it. This is going to be, I'll leave it here, And then I was like, I just told him they fucking sucked. And I think I like.
You couldn't recover?
No, I just got off stage and then I like left. And I like remember telling the guy, the parking lot guy, I was like, I fucking bombed. And he was like, it's going to be like $3, ma'am.
No.
I was like thinking maybe he wouldn't charge me. Maybe like I'll tip him, but like, and he just like did not give a fuck. Like
That's
I was like, yeah,
crazy.
happy fucking birthday.
He's like, well, listen,
nobody.
I got some bad news for you.
Wait, the time that I bombed is the most embarrassing. It's the worst time I've ever bombed. It was at potluck. It was when Benji Aflalo was hosting. I had just gotten my weed card when you still needed a weed card.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know that I was going to be going to potluck, let alone going up at potluck. So I had like a few gummies, right? So I was edible high at the store. And Benji's like, do you want to go up? And I was like, right now? He's like, yeah, like in one. I was like, sure, I'll be fine. Like I only had a few gummies, right? Well, I get up on stage. I see the light come up. And you know how it's on the side in the OR? And I'm like, how long has it been on for? I don't know how long it's been on for because I don't really remember it coming on. I'm like, has it been on for
the whole time?
The whole time? Like, am I running the light? And my whole perception of time is completely warped. Like, no idea. So then I just start talking super fast. And the words are coming out of my mouth, but they're not sounding like how I normally talk, right? Because I'm so high. And I start talking in like a full-on Western accent. The rest of my joke, like a stroke person, like someone who like has a stroke and like wakes up speaking Chinese. That's me, okay? I start like Southern, like I'm doing my scone bit with like a Southern accent. And then Benji gets on stage and goes, I don't know why she was speaking in a Southern accent. She's from the Valley, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, and then like brought up the next comic, and it was like, I took an Uber to Swingers by myself, and I was eating in a booth at Swingers, and I was just eating by myself, having a BLT and a milkshake, and then Jessica and Michelle was in there with Dana, and they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I bombed so hard. I'm so high. I came to Swingers by myself. I had the worst set of my life. I was like crying by myself in a booth, and then they're like, come sit with us. And I was like, okay, yeah. I like felt like I wasn't even worthy of friends. You know, like it was that bad of a bomb. When you're like, I'm sorry, you were speaking in an accent that we've never seen you speak in before.
Yeah, what happens when you start to bomb and how your body reacts is fucking hysterical.
I mean, I
I
wish
go
I was
to
videoed.
anger, I think, but I've learned to control that because I think I just learned to control that because, like, I don't know, you just have to channel that somehow, you know?
I have to tell you guys this. So I went to pick up my Prozac. This was like for when I first got my Prozac, like 6 months ago. Huh. And the pharmacist goes, big fan of your podcast.
No way.
I go, no. He's like, yeah, Shenk? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, here's your Prozac. I was like, thank you so much.
Absurd.
He was like,
you got recognized at the pharmacy?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
But it was like I was like so weird about it. I'm like getting my Prozac, and he was like, here's your Prozac. Also, big fan of your podcast. That is so embarrassing.
I've had that happen to me outside of an open mic, and it wasn't even like a regular person. It was just like another open micer. I was like with, you know who Dante Cordova is? He's a San Diego comic. He's really, really funny, door guy. And you know, it was right after Roast Battle. He came up, we were sleeping on the couch. We were like outside of a mic eating food, and this kid sees me, and he absolutely loses his shit. He's like, oh my God, Frank, oh my, can I take a picture with you? And I'm so high, halfway finished with the burrito. Dante is staring at this kid like, over him? You're freaking out over Frank? And me and this kid take a picture, and Dante's like, that didn't happen. He's like, he's happy because he met you. And I was like, bro, I'm surprised as much as you are.
Yeah, that's how I was. I was like, first of all, of course it's when I'm picking up my Prozac.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go.
Pharmacy famous.
Yeah.
You should spell famous P-H.
No, we're friends now. Every time I go in there, he's like,
Prozac!
hi, good to see you. Got your Prozac. Yeah, basically.
A couple extra.
I got them pros.
I got the Zax.
Yeah.
Zac attack. I have to pee.
All right. Anything you guys want to plug before we wrap up?
Follow me. Instagram at princess like normal. Princess. And then another SHENK. Princess Shenk on Instagram, Twitter. Check out my podcast, Shenk, SHENK. Frank's been on it. Wolfie's been on it. Yeah. Check me out. Subscribe, rate, review, all those things. Thank you so much. So much fun. I'm going to go pee.
You can follow me on Instagram at Wolfie comedy and Wolfie memes and Twitter. And then you can also book me on Cameo to like quit your job or like break up with your boyfriend or
Wait, what are you doing on Cameo?
I don't know. Like Doug Benson got me signed up. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing on here, but I've had people pay me for like to like wish their girlfriend a happy birthday with like smoking or some guy wanted something for his birthday. Like it's basically like diet OnlyFans, you know? But yeah, I'm making a little bit of cash. Or like I'll do anything. Like I'll quit your job for you. Like I'll gender reveals, I'm sure. Anything.
Fuck yeah.
Bar mitzvahs, weddings, I'll get ordained. Zoom, you know.
Do it over.
Whatever.
Over Cameo.
You want to load me up for this last
Yeah, man, I got you.
goodbye?
Drink your milk, Frank.
I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure like
You should probably stop.
I feel like I've just been exposed. Where's my mask?
You just Frank's single-handedly smoking out Corona.
Hanging out with some.
He's a cougher.
We got a bleeder.
We got a sprinkle.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Buddies. My name is Frank Castillo.
What's
This
up,
is
guys?
my co-host, JP.
Hey. I don't know what that
My guests
was.
today are two of my favorite comics and some of my good friends. Guys, nice round of applause for Rachel Wolfson and Sara Weinshenk.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right. Have it going, guys.